Hello everyone, I am Kiran Joshi. Hope you all are safe and sound. This is the second video of class 6 history chapter Buildings, Paintings and Books. In the first video of this chapter, we learnt about some common features of ancient Indian buildings and paintings. Through this video, we will take a closer look at the text and literature of ancient India. During this time, some very famous epics were composed. Children, epics are long compositions, generally long poems that tell about heroic men and women and include stories about gods. For example, a famous Tamil epic, the Silapadikaram, it was composed by Ilango, a poet, about 1800 years ago. This epic is the story of a merchant of Puhar, Kovalan, and his wife Kannagi. Kovalan fell in love with a woman, Madhvi, who was a courtesan and started neglecting his wife Kannagi. After some time, Kovalan and Kannagi left Puhar and went to Madurai. In Madurai, the court jeweler of Pandya king accused Kovalan in a false case of theft, and the king gave Kovalan death penalty. Kovalan's wife Kannagi, filled with sadness and anger due to the injustice done to her husband. Furious as she was, she destroyed the whole city of Madurai. The image in front of you provides the description of Kannagi's grief at the injustice done to Kovalan. O witness of my grief, you cannot console me. Is it right that your body, fairer than pure gold, lies unwashed here in the dust? Is it just that in the red glow of the twilight your handsome chest, framed with a flower wreath, lies thrown down on the bare earth, while I remain alone, helpless and abandoned to despair? Is there no God in this country? Can there be a God in a land where the sword of the king is used for the murder of innocent strangers? Is there no God? No God? She cries in despair and deep sadness. Then there's another Tamil epic. It was composed ago by Satanar. This epic is the story of the daughter of Kovalan and Madhvi. For many centuries, scholars did not have the knowledge of these epic compositions. They came to know about them only about 100 years ago when their manuscripts were rediscovered. The other composers, for example Kalidasa, wrote in Sanskrit. The image in front of you is the part of Kalidasa's best known poem, the Meghduta. A monsoon cloud is thought to be a messenger between lovers who are separated or away from each other. Other than such literary works, there were many religious stories that were popular from earlier times and were written down during this time only. For example, Puranas. The literal meaning of Purana is old. There are 18 main Puranas. They have stories about gods and goddesses. The Puranas also describe how these gods and goddesses were to be worshipped. They also tell about the creation of the world, and there are accounts about kings. The language used in Puranas is the simple Sanskrit. One special feature about Puranas is that everyone, including women and Shudras, could hear them. That means even those who were not allowed to study the Vedas, they too could hear the verses of Puranas. Perhaps when the priests recited them in temples, at that time people came to listen to them. All of you must have heard about the Mahabharata and Ramayana. These were epics composed in Sanskrit and were very popular for a very long time and are the religious cornerstones of faith for the Hindus even today. The main story of Mahabharata is about a war that was fought between two groups of cousins, the Kauravas and the Pandavas. This battle in the Kurukshetra was fought for the throne of Hastinapur. The actual story was very old, while the form in which we know the story today was written down around 1500 years ago. It is believed that Maharshi Vedvyasa compiled both the Puranas and the Mahabharata. The Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata which is studied by scholars even today. Another great Sanskrit epic is the Ramayana. This epic is about Rama, who was the prince of Kosala and was sent into exile. He was accompanied by his wife Sita and brother Lakshman. In the forest, Sita was kidnapped or abducted by Ravana, who was the king of Lanka. Rama had to fight a battle with Ravana and his army in order to rescue Sita. He won the battle, and after his victory, he returned to Ayodhya, the capital of Kosala, with Sita and Lakshman. Ramayana was also a very old story which is supposed to be composed by Maharshi Valmiki and written in its present form quite later. Though both the Mahabharata and Ramayana seem to be just simple tales of victories of good over evil, these epics are also complex philosophical texts. There are many different interpretations and versions of the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, which are very popular amongst people in different parts of the subcontinent. The description so far was about the books written by famous scholars and poets of ancient India. Besides, there were stories, poems, songs and plays that were told, composed, sung, danced and performed by ordinary people, among which some were written around this time and are preserved as collection of stories. For example, the Jataka and the Panchatantra. Many Jataka tales were shown on the railings of stupas and in the paintings at Ajanta. It is believed that Jatakas are stories about the previous births of the Buddha and usually carry moral messages. In ancient India, Aryabhatta who was an astronomer and a mathematician in the court of Gupta ruler Chandragupta II, wrote a book titled Aryabhattiyam in Sanskrit. In his book, he explained that though it seems as if the sun is rising and setting every day, but actually day and night were caused by the rotation of the earth on its axis. He gave a scientific explanation of solar and lunar eclipses. Aryabhatta developed a method of calculating the circumference of a circle. This method is almost as accurate as the formula which is used today. The numerals had been used long before. However, a special symbol for zero was invented by the Indian mathematicians during this time. Then the Arabs adapted this system of counting, and from there it spread to Europe also. This system of counting is practiced today throughout the world. Children, impressive advancements were made in ancient India in medicine also, especially in the fields of plastic surgery, removal of cataracts and dental surgery. Sushruta was a great surgeon of ancient India around 1600 years ago. In his book Sushrut Samhita, he has explained about elaborate surgical procedures. Ayurveda is a well-known system of health science developed in ancient India. It relies on herbal medicines to cure illness. Charak, the famous practitioner of Ayurveda during 1800 years ago, wrote the Charak Samhita. Today, Ayurvedic medicine is practiced throughout the world. So, children, we all should feel proud that we have inherited such a great legacy and rich tradition of art, architecture, sculpture, literature, medicine, science and mathematics from our ancestors. Now answer these questions to check your learning of the topic covered in this video. So the first question for you is, describe in brief the Tamil epics, the Silapadikaram and the Manimekalai. Second question, what are Puranas? Mention some of their features. Third question, describe the two Sanskrit epics, the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. And fourth question, explain in brief the contribution of Aryabhatta in science and mathematics. If you found this video helpful and wish to watch more of such content, do consider subscribing to the channel, and if you have any queries and comments, please post them in the comment section below. Thank you.